Hello, Jacob here with PCGamesN, and I've just got back from seeing Google Stadia here at E3. So I've parked myself up outside of the Microsoft Theatre there, arguably Google's biggest rival in the streaming space, to talk all about my experience. That was actually just a happy accident. Didn't really intend to do that. Just before E3, Google showed off Google Stadia and announced the Founders Edition set, which is a 4K Pro subscription that you'll be able to get your hands on in November. But if you can't wait for that, then they've been showing off a couple of demos here at E3, and they'll be showing off a few more public demos late in the year that you might be able to try out for yourself. So first up, the controller, which isn't quite a finished product yet, but it still looks pretty damn good. There's a couple of things that I wasn't quite fussed with, such as there's a bit of a scratch when you had one of the thumbsticks moving, and the triggers stick right out the back, which I think will actually be in the final design, which means you get that kind of PS4 style thing where when you put it down on your bed, you just knock it and then you just like skip through everything on Netflix. It's not that useful, but hopefully they'll maybe change that by the time the final design comes out. But other than that, the controller is really well built, feels really good, and it feels really comfortable. And there's a nice kind of feel to the material that's on the rear of the controller, so it doesn't come slipping out your hands. But we're all about the games here at PCGamesN, so we were playing Doom Eternal over on Stadia. That's a really fast action shooter game, so it's actually a really good example of what the Stadia tech can do. And to be honest, you didn't really realize that you were streaming when you were playing it. It just felt like you were just playing Doom Eternal locally, which is pretty impressive. So I didn't notice a huge amount of latency on the Google Stadia service, and we've tried out Doom 2016 on a couple of other services, and it wasn't quite the experience that we were really hoping for. It wasn't bad by any means, but Google seems to have really nailed down keeping that really tight on the latency side of things. The stream was running at 1080p and 60 FPS. They don't quite have the capability to do 4K yet, it's just not switched on over at the servers. But the game looked pretty good nonetheless. There was only a few stutters while I was playing, which I wasn't entirely sure whether that was Stadia or whether that was the game. Overall though, the service was really impressive. There wasn't a huge amount of latency, and you actually kind of forgot that you were playing on a stream service, which was actually coming all the way from San Francisco. We're only here in LA, so it's not the most distance you'll have between you and the data center when this service rolls out, but it's still quite a far distance to go for you to not notice any latency whatsoever. There were a few stutters here and there and a couple of slowdowns, but for the most part in my 45 minutes of gameplay, it ran really smoothly. So you can pre-order Google Stadia now, where you get the 4K Ultra package that comes with the controller, the 4K Ultra Chromecast, and all that good stuff. And I will die a little bit inside because I'm a hardware journalist and this is potentially the end of my job, but you'll get first hands-on when this service rolls out in November. Also included in that Founders Edition package is the ability to net a Google Stadia name before anyone else. But what I did find out over here at E3 is that you can also just change your name at any time so long as it's not taken. So is this the end of hardware at your home? Well, it looked pretty good, but they've still got to prove quite a lot with the games, and there's only some 30 odd games that are going to be available once they first launch, but there are quite a few publishers signed on. Anyways, maybe that's an end of days for me, but I'll just stay at home and play Stadia, I suppose. Well, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, and check back at PCGamesN.com for more E3 coverage, and I'll see you next time.